Welcome once again to Cook and Gobble videos. For this one, I'm just going to do a simple steak. This is a ribeye. It's a pretty nice looking ribeye steak. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick, which is kind of thin. I prefer them to be at least an inch to an inch and a half thick for an ideal steak. It's a little harder to cook them properly when they're this thin. But it'll turn out pretty nice anyways. It's not going to be a real problem. It's just a little bit smaller window before it goes from being done the way you want it to being past done the way you want it. But I'm going to start out with some Simply Marvelous seasonal on it. It goes great on pretty much any kind of meat you can think of, especially beef here. It really sets the flavor of it and makes it a really nice addition to it. So I'm just going to give it a nice generous seasoning. Work it in. Press it into the meat. Flip it over and give it some more on the top side here. And it's ready to go in the skillet. I've got the skillet set here to about medium high, which is about 350 degrees. 350, 375, in that range is just fine. So all I need to do now, well, I'm going to do a little oil. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This time I think I will. This is grapeseed oil. This will just help it get a nice crust, get a nice sear, to give it a nice crust on it. Sometimes in a hurry, and I don't use oil, but this time I think I will. It's going to make it taste good. Might as well make it taste real good. A little bit better shot of it there. Shouldn't take very long for this to cook. It's pretty thin. It'll go fairly quick. Sometimes on a ribeye, the outer thin layer of fat will shrink as it cooks. It'll make the steak kind of bow up a little bit. So sometimes what I'll do is just run the knife blade in a couple of spots under that thin layer of fat. That'll keep it from bowing up too bad. Make it lie flat, cook more evenly. My cat was just singing a couple seconds ago. She likes to serenade me when I'm cooking. She usually likes to get a snack too. She loves beef and chicken and turkey and fish and pretty much loves all of it. She knows she has to wait, she just doesn't want to wait. If you get this turned up too high, you get a lot of smoke. So keep it down to around 350, which is about medium high. Some temperature gauges will say medium high to high, rather than give you a actual temperature number. So just go with medium high, which is about the equivalent to 350 degrees, 360. A little bit hotter if you can sometimes, but if you get them too high, they'll start smoking, and your smoke alarm goes off. Scare yourself and your cat, and nobody needs that. This is a ribeye steak, come off the rib section of the cow, obviously. You can buy them whole as a rib roast, which is often referred to as prime rib. Technically, they're not all prime rib. It has to be a prime cut of beef to be prime rib. Otherwise, in this case, this is a choice grade of beef, so it would come off of a choice rib roast. But everybody pretty much calls any kind of a rib roast as a prime rib roast. I'll make a small one of those in another video here pretty soon, before the holidays. But they're good any time of the year. They're good every time of the year, actually. I'm going to aim to cook this about medium rare, to maybe medium at the furthest, so it'll be a little nice and pink in the center if I can do it right. It's a little harder when they're this thin, but if I watch it really close, I should be able to do pretty well with it. The only piece of beef that's probably leaner, and there's a lot of controversy as to what steak is the leanest and tenderest and all that, but generally, the only steak that would be more tender than the ribeye ribeye steak here would be from the tenderloin. It's very, very lean. Very, very tender, and it's quite lean as well. The drawback that it has is it doesn't have nearly as much flavor as the ribeye steak here has. That's why this is my favorite. Well, this one is ready to turn now. It might not show up in the video very well. There's a little bit of moisture coming up here on the steak. That usually means it's time to give it a turn. I missed this section right here. It's starting to curl up a little bit on me right there because I didn't cut that outside piece of the patty layer there. But now it's laying down real flat. It's got a good crust and color onto it there. The second side now will cook considerably faster than the first side because it's got less depth of meat to cook. So it's only going to be just a little bit longer here.